I was not huge or something like that. I had to build it by myself, man, over the years. I did go to the gym at the age of 14 years old. And my first day of my gym, I couldn't even lift a 20-kilogram barbell off my chest. From day one, I liked it, so it felt great. And all the muscle pain and stuff like that at the day after, it felt so great. I became Dutch Junior Champion in 2020. Dutch Open is the next thing where I want to become the first person or stick lifter to win that 810 kilogram total. That's something that no junior in Dutch history has ever done before. I hope to get 840 kilogram total or even more, so I can be the pound for pound number one in the Netherlands.
Welcome back to the KultureKast podcast. My guest today is Dutch Junior Powerlifting Champion. He's also a personal trainer and strength coach. He is speaking to us from Amsterdam in Holland. Welcome, Jugraj Singh. How are you doing, brother?
Thank you very much, man. I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm good. We were just speaking beforehand about COVID and lockdowns and things like that. Obviously, in the UK, we're still in lockdown as well. And gyms have been fully closed for a few months now. They opened, like, the lockdown ended a couple of times, but then we went back into it. But unfortunately, we don't have private access to gyms like you do.
Yeah.
How's that been? How's training through lockdown and things?
Yeah, I'm just training in a common gym, at the commercial gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a powerlifting specific gym. So yeah, I have to do with those equipment. So it's not that great to level up my game. So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah,
it's still better than
I
most.
can train. That's the most important thing. I can make my gains. So that's it, man. There's nothing special. It's just another day.
Yeah, 100%. It's still better than most people. So
That's right, man.
It's
A
good.
lot of people can't even train. So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have a gym and to train in a gym. Yeah, that's right, man.
100%. I don't know what it's like over there, but like as soon as we entered lockdown here, all the prices for equipment, because everyone's trying to get equipment for the house, all the prices went so far up. It's so hard to train in the house and get equipment now.
Everything is out of stock. I'm also looking for new power bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I check out the Rogue Fitness Europe side. I checked out Extreme Fitness from UK. Strength Shop doesn't have that much equipment, specifically for IPF powerlifting. And yeah, some other sites as ATX Fitness. Yeah, everything is out of stock, man. I can't even buy a power bar, so it's very hard to purchase equipment. So
it's not fun, but
it's a very bad time, man.
We're almost there. I think we're coming out of lockdown. April 12th is when gyms reopen again here, which isn't too far. It's like less than a month now. So we're getting there. Slowly but surely.
Hopefully, step by step.
Definitely. But what I like to do at the beginning of each podcast is usually take a trip down memory lane of what you were like as a kid growing up and a bit of your background. So if you could tell us a bit about what baby Jugraj was like.
Baby Jugraj, yeah, that's a while back ago. Just a normal kid, just going to school, I was, just a common kid, It was just I don't know what to say about it, I was just a normal kid. I did play soccer at those times. So I was very good at soccer. I played at a decent level. So, but yeah, then after that, I knew later in my years that I wasn't able to go to the professional level of the game. So I decided to stop and make the switch to rugby union. So I did that for a year and a half, but I broke my nose during a tackle. So yeah, that was also not so great to recover and stuff like that. It was a great setback also for my school. So that was a little hard time for me. So that's when I decided to do powerlifting. And beside that, I was just going to school and doing my thing, man. Nothing special. I was just a common kid like everyone.
Yeah, fair enough. Like powerlifting, we'll get into powerlifting very shortly,
Yeah.
and more the sporty side of things. But I'm interested in. So as I was saying just before we started, like I've had the opportunity to talk to people from, like pretty much all over across the world now, like up in there, like from Kenya, Australia, America, and things.
Yes.
And it's quite interesting to find out like what was it like growing up as a young Sikh in Holland.
Yeah, it was very hard because at those earlier time I was wearing a gutty just with a rumal, and yeah, some people thought that I was actually a girl and stuff like that, or they will make fun and stuff like that, you know. But that's a thing that made me harder, and I also told myself always that I'm unique and that I'm different from the others, you know. So yeah, there are not a lot of Sikhs in the Netherlands. Just I think around a few thousand in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands there are currently 70 million people are living here. So yeah, we're not in a, we're not with that much people over here. So yeah, I was also always on my own, man. I had to fix my own things always on my own, and on Saturday and Sunday, I was always going to the Gurdwara. So we had a great meetup with the guys, you know. So that's it, man. Nothing special, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little bit a rough time for me.
Is you're from Amsterdam, right? Is there a big or just close to Amsterdam? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I live close to Amsterdam. It's a city named Zaandam. It's
Right.
right above. So yeah, it's actually Amsterdam, man. It's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a 5 minute ride, and I'm in Amsterdam, so it's not that far away. I'm living close to Amsterdam. Yeah.
Is that where like a lot of the Sikhs are in Holland? Is it like near Amsterdam or around Amsterdam, or
Yeah.
is it all spread out?
A lot of people are living in Amsterdam, in Rotterdam,
Mhm.
in some in the middle, and a lot of people are living in the south, man. Most of the people are in Amsterdam or in Rotterdam.
That's what so I was speaking to Onkar Singh and we were speaking about like because he's from Sweden, and it's interesting that when anytime there's immigrants that go over to countries, you always find that they're near the big cities because that's where the money is. You know? So it's
That's true.
Amsterdam and Rotterdam's the biggest
Yeah,
cities, so that's where they probably end up gravitating
yeah,
towards.
the big cities. Yeah, that's true, man.
Do you find that there was like a lot of I don't know how to phrase this without it being negative, but do you find that there was like a lot of ignorance? Like, did people like didn't know about Sikhs? Was it more of an education thing, or
Yeah, I always had to tell people what my religion was, what it actually what the practicing actually does, you know, for the Sikhs, and they always thought that I was a Muslim or a Hindu. So I had to tell and separate my religion from the others, you know. I had to tell that, and yeah, in every conversation I had those things, man, those struggles.
yeah, yeah, it happens. It happens like I think everywhere because I feel like Sikhs are like low key. Do you know what I mean? We're not as outlandish and sort of out there as much. So like, even up in Newcastle for myself, that's a conversation that I had to have I had a goatee as well when I was a
Yeah,
little kid, and it was like, oh, so why do you keep your hair? Or what's a kara? Like, why have you got that
yeah, that's
bangle
true.
on your wrist and things like that? And then they'd be like, oh, so do you not eat halal or something or do you eat halal or something like that, because then they think
I know the
you're Muslim.
struggles.
Yeah, yeah, it's always the same.
Yeah,
It's always the same.
yeah.
So what you mentioned there you were into soccer first of all, like football. First and foremost, being in Holland, supporting football or getting into football, I imagine's the normal thing because you have like a lot of very talented legends that have played for Holland. So I imagine that's what most kids
Yes.
gravitate towards.
Yes, and the youth is also very great at soccer, man. It's the level here is unbelievable.
Hmm.
I think it's even better than in England over there. Yeah.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
Hey,
whoa, whoa.
Level here is amazing, man. It's very hard to get at the professional level.
Hmm. Yeah,
You have to have,
sorry, go on.
yeah, you have to do, you have to have those connections, you know, to get in those professional high level clubs. So otherwise, you're not. It's a very low chance that you're going to make it.
It's not just talent; it's also connections.
Also, yeah, connection, both of them, man.
Yeah, yeah. We've had so I'm from Newcastle in England, as I said, and Newcastle United Football Club. We've had some good Dutch players play for us. Wijnaldum was one of our players a couple
Yeah,
of years ago.
Wijnaldum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I met him. We have like Tesco's here, which is like the local supermarket, and he doesn't live that far away from me. And I met him at like the Tesco's quite a few times when he just came over. I was
that's
like, "Yo, it's Wijnaldum." Tim Krul, the goalkeeper.
Cruel. Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So he
I
was.
know him also.
Do you remember that World Cup where he got subbed on for penalties?
Penalties, yes. I
Yeah.
don't
So
know
he was playing for
against
Newcastle.
which team. Yeah,
I can't remember. He got subbed on for Sillerson, and I remember
Van
it was
Gaal was the
Ronald
head
Koeman.
coach.
Oh yeah, Van Gaal. Yeah, Van Gaal
Yeah,
was the head
he
coach.
was
Yeah,
the head coach.
was it 2014 World Cup? I think maybe.
I think so.
I think something like that.
Don't
Yeah.
remember it
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, it was something like that. No, but we appreciate Dutch players in this country. Obviously, you've got
Yeah.
the likes of like Johan Cruyff and all that as well, legends of the game.
Van der
So
Sar at Man U.
Van der Sar at Man U.
Yeah,
I always liked Clarence Seedorf. I really like Clarence
he was
Seedorf.
also great.
Yeah,
His
I,
peak
I
was
used
at
to.
AC Milan.
Yeah, I used to like him because of Real Madrid. So when I was younger, like that's the Galactico series. So we're not too dissimilar in age. I'm 24, and so like around 2000 2001, when I'm starting to watch football on TV, the first team that I watched was like Real Madrid because they had Zidane, they had
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos. It was that sort of Galactico era. Beckham was moving there, and I remember Clarence Seedorf was like a tank in the middle of the field. Like, do you know what I mean? He was a unit and a half.
His
Um,
legs are huge, man.
I know, yeah. Even his abs. I remember, like, you know, like after like the change shirts and all that, his abs are like genetically so blocky and perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like
I know.
very identifiable. But yeah, as you said, you were playing soccer, but more as like a hobby. Do you call it soccer? Or do you call it football?
Football.
Okay, I don't know why I'm saying soccer. We call it football as well.
Football,
Yeah.
yeah. It is football.
And then what? So why did you switch to rugby?
So later in my years, at the age of 15 or 16 years old, I decided to make the switch because I knew that I was never going to be a professional soccer player anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you have those peak in your early puberty years, like 12 years old or something around that, or even in your younger years. And it's becoming harder and harder, you know. And I was also not dedicated anymore to play football anymore. So yeah, that's why I decided to do something else that I liked, you know. So that's when the Rugby Union World Cup came to play in 2015, where the All Blacks won.
Oh,
So
was that tournament in Holland?
no, there was I don't know where it was, but it was very huge on television. So
Right.
everybody in the Netherlands was watching it, and I was so inspired by the World Cup that I decided to make the switch to rugby union. So
Were you like a big kid? As in, were you quite stocky, or were you like a
no,
skinny lad?
I was fucking skinny, man. Yeah, I was taller than the common kids at my school. You know, I was a lot taller than them, but yeah, I was not huge or something like that. I had to build it by myself, man, over the years. So yeah, I was skinny actually. That's what it was.
When you went into rugby, did you start to like go to the gym to sort of put on a bit of muscle mass as well? Because obviously
Yeah,
rugby's a bit tougher.
I did go to the gym at the age of 14 years old. And when I started was in India. So
Okay.
you have your local gym there in Fagwara. So I went there for the first time with my cousin. So I went there and did my stuff, and from day one I liked it, so it felt great. And all the muscle pain and stuff like that at the day after, it felt so great. And yeah, that's why I stick to training. And I also wanted to become a fitness famous influencer. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to be the next huge bodybuilder. That's what everybody thinks to become at their first years of lifting weights or doing fitness. So at the age of 14, I started to do fitness, and later in my years, at the age of 16, I think, or 17, I started to do rugby union. So I always did fitness just for fun at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And then, so you've done your fitness in India and sort of the first time, and then obviously, I'm guessing when you come back home, you join the gym and continue it.
Yes.
That gym in India that you went to, was it quite modern? Was it old school? Because that.
Oh, it's old school, man. I remember when I did go for the last time in 2019 in February. I had my preparation for my first Dutch national for powerlifting, and I was doing 230 kg for a double. And after that, that whole barbell was just bent up, man. Yeah, it's just a very old school with old equipment, man. It's funny.
But
It's
that environment is very nice though as well. Like I remember the gym in our bend in India is similar. It's like quite old rusty barbells, the iron plates and things.
Yes.
But then it makes you feel a bit more like macho, doesn't it? It makes you feel a bit more like you feel like you can bench more just because you're in that environment.
And everybody is dedicated in India, man. In their local gyms, everybody is coming at 6 and is training just for 2 or 3 hours, and everyone is going hard, man. It's a very good environment, so I like it a lot. So it's not that common to see in the Netherlands over here, so it's a special thing in India, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What is the gym environment in in the Netherlands?
Oh, I'm always training in a commercial gym. I did go to a powerlifting gym for a while, but it's a 45 minutes ride
Right.
to go to the place and going 45 minutes back with the car. So yeah, I did it for a year. It was enough, so that's why I decided to train in my local commercial gym. And everyone is watching like, oh shit, what is he doing actually? So I am one of the few people that is lifting heavy, and that's that's it, man. Everybody is
Go on.
Yeah, everybody is just looking shocked at me always when I'm lifting.
Is it like so are they not, is the powerlifting or getting big sort of thing not really popular in Holland? Is it more like just to be a bit more lean, and is that the more popular thing?
I think I'm actually the second generation that is competing at a decent level at the moment.
Right.
So the Dutch people are always late with their sports, So yeah, we're leveling up step by step every year. So I'm seeing every year there are coming more people that are gaining some huge numbers like me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I think when one person does it in a local gym, even it only takes like that one person, and then somebody will see them, and then they'll want to get higher. Or that's a good thing about Instagram nowadays, is that you can see all these different people doing big numbers, and you can get inspired and sort of copy them. I think we'll rewind back a tiny bit to rugby. So you're playing rugby for like 1.5 years, and you break your nose, and then what is that the reason that you just basically stopped? Like, I don't want to get broken noses all the time.
I broke my nose, so I had an operation, and that's when I decided, like, okay, is this what I want to do? Because my coach told me, like, this is not gonna happen for once. You're going to have this a lot of times, and the nose break that made me that I couldn't go to the fitness for a month. So yeah, that rehabilitation is fucked, you know. Sorry. Yeah, it's not yeah, a good thing to have, you know. I like to be consistent every time, every week, every month, you know. And if I have a huge break, I hate that, man. I can't handle that. So that's why I decided to stop and stick with fitness, because that's what I like, you know. So that's what I do.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
good.
hobby.
So that what age was around that? Like 17, 18?
Yeah, around that age. I think at 17
At
that I
17.
broke my nose. Yeah.
So then what made the switch from when you're in the gym from going to, as you said, fitness famous to powerlifter?
Powerlifting, yeah. Yeah. When I got more experience in the fitness, I knew that you couldn't be a fitness influencer by just training, you know. So you have to take stuff and like that, you know, steroids and stuff, and that. And yeah, that's when my powerlifting came into play. So I knew that I was gaining some strength and that I could do it naturally, you know. And watching the IPF, I knew that naturally a lot of things are possible to gain some strength, you know, and size will also come into play. So yeah, I just did it always for fun, you know. Always in the gym, I stick to my strength systems. I made my own programs and stuff like that. And I just loved it to make some PRs on the SBD lifts, you know, on the squat, bench press, and deadlift. And that's why I decided to stick more with powerlifting instead of just doing bodybuilding and stuff like that. Because I was not very well educated at my diet and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about that till I got a coach, and that's when I learned that you have to sleep, you make your 8 to 9 hours and stuff like that, you know, and have a proper diet to gain maximum, yeah, gains.
What were you doing like before the coach came into play? Were you just eating everything and trying to get your numbers
Yeah,
up?
I was eating everything, whatever I liked. I was 70 kg, and I went up in 2 years' time to around 90 kg or 95. So yeah, I gained a lot of dirty weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a fatty kid at the moment. So yeah, yeah, that's it. And I love to train very consistently with very high weights. So that's what I love to do.
Did you have to go back and then reverse that? Like, so did you have to sort of lose the excess fat? Because obviously, like when you're in powerlifting competitions, it's still in weight categories. So if you're too high in weight because you've got too much fat, is it not better to like come down and sort of compete in a like lose your fat so you can get into like a lower category and maintain your muscle mass?
When I started with powerlifting for competitions, I weighted in around 100 or 102 kg. So
Right.
I'm competing in the minus 105. So yeah, I never had any problems to lose some weight or cut some weight, you know. So yeah, when I started with competitions, I always decided to stick to the weight class where I didn't have to cut some weight.
Right. Okay.
So still to this day, you know, when I'm at my off season, I'm always cutting some weight to gain some new muscle weight gains, you know. So
Yeah.
it's not all those fat will make into muscle.
Did you just didn't want to be in a position where you had to like cut, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. I was speaking to Inderaj Singh, who's a
Bearded warrior.
yeah bearded warrior.
He's amazing, man.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
dope. So that
he's dope.
by the time we're recording this, obviously that episode hasn't came out, but when this does go out, it's a couple of episodes ago, and we were talking about like weight cutting in there, and he finds himself basically spot on in the middle of two weight categories, if that makes sense. So he says, like, for me, there's no point. Like, if you were slightly over, then he might go down just to basically get like an edge over his competition, or if you were slightly under, then like you're fine. You've got as much leverage. But he said that like a lot of other people do try to cut their weight so that they can have like more leverage and sort of get that advantage over people.
Yeah, that's also what is happening in the UFC, right? So
Well,
it's
yeah.
happening everywhere. It's always an advantage.
Yeah, that's it. Because the thing that he was saying is like exactly what you've just said. There's people will do it in any sport, but so himself, like yourself, are both in drug-free powerlifting, and he noticed that there was a few people who took steroids but knew how to do it, like cycle properly, so that when they go into competition, even though it's drug-free, they're competing in, they're
That's true. Yeah.
they're in steroids. Do you find that that's happened? Have you seen that that's happened in Holland to yourself in
It's
competitions?
everywhere, man. It's everywhere. If it is in powerlifting, then it's in football, in rugby, in basketball, in every sport. You know, it's happening in every sport. In the Netherlands, in the UK, over there, it's happening everywhere. And you have to watch that Netflix series Icarus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sick.
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's very easy to do that shit, man. Shit happens, and it is what it is, you know. So you have to compete against those people, and yeah, that's it, man. Nothing to do about it.
It's a bit harsh though, because like if there's a drug-free powerlifting and there's like the non-testing, I think is what they call it, powerlifting. And if you want to take your steroids, nobody's stopping you because there is an organization that doesn't test. Like, don't ruin it for the people who aren't taking the steroids and competing. Just go compete in the ones where you know other people are taking steroids. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
There are some drug-free uh, federations, but IPF is a drug-tested federation, and there's a huge difference between those. And what the problem is, and that's what Louis Simmons said, it's not illegal to take drugs, but it is illegal to get caught with drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the game, man.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're so for yourself, you're in a drug-tested federation, right? So then you're not taking steroids because you know you're going to get tested. But I assume
I've been tested before, man.
You've been tested.
Yes.
So
and it's a silly test, man. You have to pee in a bottle, and that's it. So a lot of people can easily cycle it out of their system. So yeah, if they want to catch people, they have to do a blood test, a DNA test, so they can find out more about the DNA and stuff like that, man. With a P test, it's very easy to to level it out.
Yeah, you just got to cycle it out. You can flush it out of your system you can flush most things out of your system really quickly and easily.
Definitely, man.
Which is but it must be frustrating, like if you're in a competition which is drug tested and you know somebody else is on something, it's annoying, right?
That's true, man, but that's the game.
That's the game. You
can't
just got to
do
be
about
better.
it. It's a drug tested federation. It's not the drug free test federation.
Have you ever wanted to, like, if you get to a certain level, drug tested and drug free, do you think you'd ever try to sort of see what your ceiling is?
Of course, yeah, but I won't compete in the IPF anymore. Then I will compete where the Americans are competing, or the Russians in those federations like the Showdown or World some federation in Russia. In Russia, yeah, that one is also big, and yeah, those are the big money federations also, you know. So I don't think you can even get I don't think IPF have a prize money with the common worlds. They do have with the what's called the pound for pound world championship. I'm not sure if they have a prize money for Europe's or the common worlds. Yeah, I'm just doing it for fun, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair play.
It's not the IPF is not the federation where I will compete my whole life in. I just would love to see where my strength is at, with or without steroids, you know. So I'm doing it in a safe way, and I will consider it to do it in a non-tested federation. But as you can see, man, I'm gaining still a lot of strength, so I can do it in this way in the drug tested federation. So I will stick to it when I have my when I will hit my limits. That's when I will decide to go to the non drug tested federation. I'm not dirty to use it then, man. It's just I'm doing it for myself, you know. So if I want to see where my maximum potential strength is, I will do that by the time, man. But for now, I will stick with what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah, you want to see where your limit is naturally, and then if you need to, then you can go up even further, which is fair enough. But the thing that I think is that irks me about it, because I don't have an issue with anybody taking steroids, because you're your own man, you're your own person, anybody can do it. The issue that I tend to have is when you're cheating somebody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not cheating till you get caught, you know.
No, but this is what, like, okay,
I know what you mean, but that's the fact, you know. So you can't blame anyone that is taking steroids or is not taking taking steroids till they're not getting caught, you know. Then for me, in my eyes, that's the moment when you can blame someone. Till then, it's you can consider like, oh, maybe he's taking or that way, you know. But yeah, that's it. I'm not making I don't put that much pressure on myself to have those thoughts in myself, you know. I know what is possible to achieve naturally and what's not, and you have that everywhere. And what you were going to say, yeah, that's also true, you know. It's also playing in my head, but it's not my primary function that is going in my head at the moment. You know, I believe you can pull a 700 lbs deadlift or squat naturally. I believe you can do it with the 800 lbs. You know, there are some people that did it, but there are just a few people that can manage to do that. So yeah, that's it, man. It sucks, but it's also possible. So
yeah, some of the people are genetic freaks, though.
Double. Yeah, it's double, man.
But as you were saying before, like at the moment, your progression naturally has been a bit crazy, to be fair. When we were chatting in the build up to this on Instagram, so in 2019 in January, your combined total was 580 kg. So that's your squat
with knee sleeves, and it was 600 with knee reps.
Right. Okay. So that was with knee sleeves, and with knee reps it was 600.
Yeah, I didn't have any knee sleeves on the time, and just went just raw with nothing. And yeah, I did a 220 kilogram squat at the age of 19 years old. And I did 140 kilogram on the bench for a double at the age of 19, and I deadlifted 240 kilogram with figure 8 straps at the age of 19. Yeah, so that combined is a 600 kilogram total, and I did 200 with the squat with bare knees.
Flip it out, that's some big numbers. And this is pre-competitions as well. This is, or were you...
I didn't have any coach. I just trained myself. I was always training with two of my friends, and we're just doing it by our fun. So having some fun, just going to the gym. And a year before those PR moments, we're like, okay, I want to hit a 600 kilogram total. I'm going to squat 220 kilogram. I'm going to bench that much, and that much I'm going to deadlift at that moment. So I did. And before that, I also in the age of 18, I decided to squat 180 kilogram, and that was with knee reps. and I benched 120 kilogram, I think, and my deadlift was 220 kilogram. Yeah,
Flipping
at the age of 18. And that was just by doing fun and stuff like that.
That's the
Yeah,
funny part at the end. You just like these big numbers, and you're like, yeah, but it was all just for fun.
yeah, always, man. And you know, it was also a very rough time for me in my mental game. So school wasn't that great at the moment. Just some common private things, you know. So that's what made me to go harder and harder, and that's always before a huge lift. I brought some moments of my past back, and I put it in the lift to lift that weight up. So
Definitely. I
still
think
to this day, I'm doing it, and it works very well, actually.
that's the problem with this lockdown and gyms being closed, is that so many people have the gym and weightlifting as their vice. Do you know what I mean? Their escape. And it's a massive thing for mental health. Obviously, not just like scientifically with exercise increasing serotonin levels, etc., but also just like you can sort of just get your alone time. It's like I was speaking to Mr. Satman, who also has a podcast, but he's recently went through a weight loss transformation, and he said that for him, weightlifting is like meditation. So like when you're going to a bar to do a squat, like a 180 kilo squat at 18, when your school life isn't too great, you don't think about your school life when the bar's on your
No,
shoulders. You think about
definitely, yeah,
nothing else, and that's what meditation is. That's the way he explained it, and it's a really good parallel. It's like you think of nothing
definitely.
other than getting that bar back up, and it's so good to just clear your mind.
Yeah, that was in my past. That was the only moment where I was just free in my head, where
Yeah.
I didn't have any stress or problem and stuff like that, you know. And as soon as I got out of the gym, everything came back. So yeah,
Is
yeah,
everything good now?
yeah. Of course, man. We're getting older and older, so our mental health is leveling up, of course, man. So it's not a big deal anymore. I'm just proud where I am at the moment, and we're going to level everything up step by step.
I think the important thing for most people is just to realize what works for them. Do you know what I mean? Like for you, obviously, you realize quite quickly that the gym works for me. Like if there's things going wrong, I can go to the gym and I can release all this energy. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, people don't realize what that thing is for them. It could be anything. Do you know what I mean? Some people like to draw, some people like to go on a long drive, some people like the gym, anything. But as long as you realize it quite quickly, it can sort of save you a lot of problems going down the road. Do you know what I mean?
definitely. And the gym was the only thing that let me became to love myself again. You know, so at those moments I hated myself always. Everything, just physically and mentally. I always put myself under below everyone. So the gym was the only key that I could succeed in my head. And when I hit those PR, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, I'm something, you know, for myself. In my head, that was just a successful thing to do. And still to this day, that's just a little part of me, you know. So if I'm hitting a PR, I'm just doing it for myself, you know. It's just getting myself stronger and stronger. And the gym, the fitness, the dedication to the weight helped me to, yeah, be my new version and a better version of myself by the time.
100%. It's great to hear because obviously, like especially with the virus and the pandemic and people being locked up in the houses, you hear the statistics at the moment. I'm not sure what it's like in Holland, but in UK, like suicides and mental health is obviously like
Definitely. It's also over here. It's everywhere.
I think it's everywhere. I think it's everywhere because people aren't meant to be locked up in their houses all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's not nice, but it's really good to
Definitely.
hear that you found it and you sort of, as you say, leveled up.
And still to this day, you know, when I'm at home, for a very long time and for days. I'm thinking like, fuck, man, I'm in a jail right now. You know, I'm at the outside world, but it feels like that I'm in a jail. You know, so yeah, it sucks, man. And I hope that we can get our normal lives back as soon as possible.
100%, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Going back to the numbers, so 600 kg total, 18 or 586, 19. But last year at the junior champs, you got 610 kg.
My first Dutch junior.
810, sorry. 810, sorry.
Oh,
my bad.
that was just a training total because of the pandemic. I couldn't compete. A year in 2020. My last competition was at the Dutch Nationals 2020, and that was back in March 7th.
Just before the lockdown and stuff happened, I imagine.
Just before the lockdown. The Dutch Open was also 2 weeks later, and they couldn't do their competition because of the coronavirus. And that's when everything went to a lockdown. So it's it's very silly for them. So
Yeah.
a lot of people were maxing out in their own gyms and nearby, and yeah, it sucks, man. And when I did my 810 kilogram total in December, I think, December, just a week later or 2 weeks later, everything went back again to lockdown.
Oh, okay.
A week later, yeah. I remember that the week after, on Friday, I think, or Saturday, our country went to a lockdown again as soon as possible on the next day, yeah. And so I didn't plan to train, you know, at the moment. So I had a whole week free of training because I had a week before I maxed out already. So when I heard that the next day we went back to the lockdown, I just went back to the gym and I hit my last 300 kg deadlift. So just for fun.
Just to get one last deadlift in before lockdown.
Just one last deadlift, and go back to the lockdown and just crying. Just cry. Yeah.
It's not fun, but at least you still got that one competition in before starting before the lockdown happened as well.
It was not official competition, but a lot of people from the IPF in the Netherlands were competing on that day. So it was a mock meet, not an official competition. Everything is postponed. So our first competition in the Netherlands is in May 30th.
Right,
for the boys. For the boys. It's also a Dutch Open, and they made it up to qualify for the Worlds and European Championship. So I'm still in my last junior year, but I'm going to compete at the Dutch Open on 12 weeks left, I think, or 10 weeks. So I'm 10 weeks out from the competition at the moment.
That's dope. What's your aim for that? So you are 810 at the moment. Are you trying to put on a tiny bit more?
Yeah, so I had a huge break and just a few weeks I gained everything just back to a normal kind of strength. So yeah, I'm still in my volume phase and I have to do my peaking phase about 2 weeks. So I'm currently in my volume phase. Everything is going well, actually. I'm stronger than ever before. So I think I can hit PR on all the 3 lifts. So we will see, man. I hope to get 840 kilogram total or even more. So I can be the pound for pound #1 in the Netherlands with IPF powerlifting. I'm currently ranked at number 15, I think, or even lower. So I hope to be pound for pound #1.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Yeah, let's hope. When did you say that competition is? May
30th or 29th.
May 13th to 29th. Right. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So when that competition happens, I'll be cheering you on.
Thank you, man. It's
No,
all there's also live stream, so I will post it, and everything is possible to follow.
100%. I'll keep up to date on that, because honestly, I quite like it. Is going to the gym myself. Obviously, when I was growing up and stuff, 16, 17, I was a big kid growing up, going to the gym, and I went to lose weight, but I ended up lifting heavyweight and sort of just got addicted to that side of things. And it is fun, so it is entertaining. When I hear the numbers that some people come out with, though, I'm so shocked.
The numbers in the UK are absurd, man, and it's next level. It's unbelievable what they're lifting. Like people like Indaraj. I think he's currently the strongest Sikh lifter in his weight class, definitely. But I'm not sure if he's in the IPF as a Sikh lifter. I think he is.
I think
From all the
he's in a tested federation. I'm not sure
Yeah,
which one, but he's in a
but
tested federation.
yeah, I mean, for the IPF, he's definitely, I think, the strongest Sikh lifter for our community. Yeah, you got Karanjit Kaur Bains. She's also a very great lifter. She had a break for a moment. You got someone in an untested federation. His name is Sunny or something like that. He's competing in a weight class under me.
Sunny BSB, is that his thing on
I
Instagram?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him on Instagram. He's also he's also a very good lifter from the UK, and you got someone in the minus 120 kilogram weight class or 120 plus.
Right.
His name is AJ or something like that. I don't know, man. I saw him on the gram one time. And
That's the cool thing about the gram, though, as well, is that everyone can see each other. I haven't heard of the AJ kid, but I've heard of obviously the rest. I've had Indaraj on, which is going to be a couple of episodes before this.
It's always too great to see some Indian or Sikh lifters to put some big numbers. So it's also motivating myself to be one of them. Yeah.
100%. That's what I've said throughout like all the episodes of the podcast, is because I'm speaking to people in different fields. So obviously yourself and Indaraj being powerlifters. I've had artists on, musicians on, like other fitness people on, and it's always that like representation is very important. Do you know what I mean? Like you need representation in all fields, so that when a young Sikh who from wherever, if it's from Holland or if it's from anywhere else in the world, could look at yourself, can look at Indaraj and be like, well, yeah, I can lift heavy weights because they're Singhs as well and they're lifting heavy weights, and it's very important.
Everyone is starting somewhere, you know. In my first day of my gym, I couldn't even lift a 20 kilogram barbell off my chest. So everyone is starting somewhere, and you have to be dedicated to achieve those numbers step by step, year by year. You know, you have to be consistent. If you're going to put yourself in a bad situation where you get injured and stuff like that, or you don't even know what you're doing in the gym, you're doing something wrong, you know. So you have to be consistent, be smart, and give yourself some time to achieve those numbers step by step. I'm not even in my prime, you know. So I'm still currently gaining some weight in my earlier years of powerlifting, and I know there are some big things coming up for myself, and I just have to be consistent, give myself some time, and that's where I will end up to be one of the greatest of all time if I be dedicated for my whole life.
Because you're 22 at the moment, right?
Yes.
And peak age is normally around like 30, isn't it, for powerlifting?
True, that's true.
You got
for the most people.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what did you say?
I said you've got plenty of time. You've got so much time to keep on getting better and better.
Definitely, I have plenty of time, and that's why I'm. My coach is always telling me like, "Yo, you got plenty of time, so be slowly with your progression." And I know I'm making some huge progression in the last year and actually 2 years, you know. So yeah, but everything what I achieved was without even one injury that I received from those gains, you know. So I'm doing it in a smart way, but still I'm gaining some huge gains, you know. So I'm very happy at the moment for those gains, but it's definitely not enough to be satisfied. I will never be get satisfied, I think.
Yeah, I
So
think most people who get to like a very high level and are very competitive aren't ever satisfied.
that's true, man. And what I also like about myself, it's like I became Dutch Junior Champion in 2020 on March 7th. And this year I'm thinking like, okay, the Dutch Open is the next thing where I want to become the first person or Sikh lifter to win that competition, you know, and to be the greatest 105er in the Dutch history, of course. And yeah, it's possible to happen, and that's my next aim. You know, I'm not looking even like that. I want to become another. That I want to be the second Dutch junior national champion. So that's where I'm not looking even anymore. So I'm
You've done that one.
aiming
It's
for my
on to the
next
next
goal.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm putting that away. I already achieved it. So why would I love to achieve the same thing over and over again?
Yeah.
So that's where my next destination is for now, for the Dutch Open, and that's where I'm aiming for at the moment.
Yeah, because you know you've done that one. You know you can do it. You want to test yourself and keep on pushing forward. You want to challenge yourself. There's no point in staying in your comfort zone as junior champ. Why not go to the
Yeah,
opens?
and that's where people always will stick to their barriers. You know, I'm one of the few people that in the Netherlands that made some huge progress, and that's because I always have a mindset that's greater compared to the others. So I'm also the fast growing athlete, strength athlete in the Dutch community. I gained like 220 kilogram or something like that on my total in 2 years time, I think.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So yeah, I did 610 in 2019 in February, or a year before I did 580 kilogram.
Hmm.
And back in December, I did 810 kilogram, you know, so you can do the math and you know how much gain that is in a short period of time. So,
What do you think is what's the biggest change that you made to make that leap in such a short amount of time?
so back in 2019, I did 5 competitions.
Mhm.
In all those 5 competitions, I just ended up second, third, and fourth. And the problem was that I was listening too much to what others had to say about me. So if I was always telling myself, and I'm always representing it on my stories on Instagram, that I want to hit a certain number, I always got 4 to 5 DMs like, fuck off, you know, you're not going to achieve that, you know. It's you have to stick with your plan and have to be think in a normal way, you know, like how everyone is gaining at the moment. And I did that for a whole year, and I always ended up like second, third, and fourth, and I got sick of it, you know. And that's when 2020 got into play, and where I became the Dutch national junior champ because of my mindset, you know. I changed everything up. I aimed to be I wanted to have a 700 kg plus total, and I wanted to hit a world championship or a Europe championship qualification. That was at the time 725 or 15 kg, and I was just 2.5 kg
Oh
under
no.
it. So yeah, but coronavirus came into place, so everything was postponed. So it doesn't matter anymore, and that's where I got my motivation from. Like, okay, you know, you listened too much to other people. And back in 2019, you made some switches and twitches in your programs with your coach, and you went for it. I was very dedicated at the moment, so that's where those huge progressions came into play. And I was also a very bad deadlifter, man. Everything went up very crazy fast uh, to my knees, but everything with the lockout was a huge problem. So I always leaked on my deadlift strength. So that's where I left some kgs on my total because of my deadlift. So yeah, I made a lot of mistakes back in 2019 where I learned so much from. So everything what I did wrong, I decided to do it in a right way back in 2020, and you can see those gains, man. 810 kilogram total. That's something that no junior in Dutch history has ever done before. The current highest total in juniors in all the weight classes are 790 and a half kilogram, and that's just by one person, and everything is so much below that, and I'm just the only person that can manage to be the greatest Dutch junior champion of all time for for a
Do
long
you
time.
not want to do the juniors one more time so that you can break that record?
I can do it in a Dutch Open national to break all the records. I would
Okay.
love to put all those 105 junior records on my name, and it will definitely happen. I already got the squat and the bench press on my name. The deadlift is very tricky. That's 340 and a half kilogram. So yeah, that's very high. He was a very specific, very good deadlifter, but his squat and bench press sucked compared to his deadlift, So yeah, his deadlift was always his specialist movement. So yeah, that will be very hard to break, but I believe that I can do it this year. And so the total at the moment is 770 kilogram for the 105 in the junior weight class, and I already did 810 kilogram easy in back in 2020 in December. So I will smash that total record, and the current 105 open records are for the squat 292 and a half kilogram. For the bench press is 202 and a half kilogram, and the deadlift is 340 and a half kilogram by that junior dude. And the total is 800. So there's just me and one other guy that moved up from a weight class that are competing for those records.
When you are competing in the open, you can still break the junior records. Is that because you're under a certain age? Like, what's the age for you to classify as a junior?
You have to be 19 to 23 years old.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
you also have a sub junior category, and that's 40 to 80 years old. So if you're a sub junior and you have a certain number that is higher than junior or even an open record, your sub junior record will put on the board instead of the junior and open record. So if you're a junior, you can't break the sub junior record anymore, and if you're open, you can't break the sub junior and the junior record anymore. But I'm a junior, so I can still break the junior and the Dutch Open record.
Really good spot then, eh?
Yeah. For sure.
When you were in 2019 and you had the 580 total, did you have a coach then as well, or as?
I did everything by myself, and I started to have a coach in January 2020. There's just a local coach here, just a 10 minutes ride from here, and I knew that it wasn't working very well for me at the moment. I didn't went up very crazy like I did now. So I believe there was way more left in the tank for me, and that I can gain way more, because I was looking at other lifters from the Netherlands, and they were impressive as hell compared to me at the time, you know. So I knew that I was doing something wrong. And that's when I decided to go to another coach. And till this day, since June 2019, he's still my coach. His name is Berend Aftink. He's also the Dutch strongest man below 105. So his deadlift is also very crazy. His deadlift is around 350 or 355 kilogram.
Is that what he's been helping you with mainly?
Yeah, with powerlifting.
No, is it like has he been helping your deadlift? Like you were saying before that you were having problems locking out and
true.
things. Has he been helping that?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's where most of your progresses came from as well? Having a coach has helped.
Yeah, and what the big problem is, you have to give your coach time to gain gain to a certain level, you know, because he's also just a person, you know, because he has to learn with the months and the years that are coming up, how your body reacts to some certain methods, what your weaknesses are, so he can strengthen those muscle groups. And over time, you know, we both made a lot of mistakes, but we always trusted in each other, and that's what made us a great team. And you can see those numbers, you know, so from an 620 or 30 kilogram total back in June 2020, where I did my first Dutch nationals, where I became second in the junior category. That's when I decided to switch up and with my stick with a new coach. And from there, I gained just a very just a lot of gains, you know, are made on that short notice of time. So
Yeah.
from a 630 kilogram ish total back in June 2019 till December 2020, where I hit my 810 kilograms. So you have to give your coach always some time to build up some decent numbers.
Yeah, because they need to understand you. Like everybody's body will be different. Like you know, like if he's programming for you, using information that he's got from programming for somebody else, like your bodies are going to react different to different things. You might need more rest, or you might need less rest, and things like that. So it does take time. You mentioned before, obviously, you haven't had any like serious injuries or anything like that, which hopefully you don't in the future as well. Is there anything that you do for like? Do you do like a lot of prevention work?
Yes, I do. I just do some stretching before my training and get my muscles that I'm going to touch in my training session. I'm letting them to get warm, you know, so they're ready to go. So that's one of the reasons that I'm not getting injured that quick, and I'm also not pushing that hard in my training. So you want to have your peak on your day when you're going to smash your PRs, you know. And if you're going to smash your weights in your training, you will get burned out physically and maybe even mentally. What happened in 2019 with me, you know. So I did go too hard in the gym, and a lot of times I knew that I was mentally and physically burnt out for my competition. So that's also a reason where I never competed very well in competitions. So that's a learning process for me. So yeah, just keep your just stretch your muscles before and after your training, and get some good sleep. I'm always hitting those 9 hours, maybe even 10 hours on a day notice. And yeah, just your diet should be proper for your body to have to work. So everything has to heal up and restore your body to hit those next training session.
Yeah, it's interesting you say the burnt out thing as well. Going back to sort of the fighting comparison, you see it with like fighters as well, like in the UFC or in boxing, where like you can sort of tell that the commentators often say like, oh, he's basically done too many rounds in the gym, sort of thing, and then when you get into the ring, then obviously like you don't have enough energy to do the fight. So it
Yeah,
is
that's true.
interesting.
Yeah, you have to make those mistakes to learn it to do it in a proper way.
Yeah.
So I'm always thankful to get those setbacks in my life, so I can come uh, double as strong as when I did before. So that's the huge. That's the biggest reason where I gained a lot of strength in a short period of time to catch those weaknesses and to let them become a strong fact of my training system and methods.
100%. 100%. You need to learn from your mistakes. Like nobody ever likes to show the mistakes, though. This is the problem, Anna. Like nobody ever
Yeah,
shows the bad things. Everybody wants to see when you're doing your 810s or when you've won your Dutch junior nationals. People will see that part, but they won't see the mistakes and the learning from the mistakes and all the hurdles you have to overcome. Another thing that you mentioned there was diet, and nutrition. Obviously, if you're going to lift so much weight, is going to be really important. So what is your diet like?
I'm not vegetarian at the moment. At the age of 18, I decided to eat meat again. I was vegetarian for a very long time, but my macros are like my protein is very high, and my carbs are also very high. And my fats are very low at the moment. So I'm at my training days. I'm currently eating 3,100
Grams.
yes, no, not carbs. What do you mean? That whole package.
Whole package. What do you
What
mean?
do you call it?
Like calories?
Calories.
Yeah,
Calories.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Got an error in my system. So yeah, on my
Everything.
training day, I'm eating 3,100 calories, and on my rest day, I'm eating around 2,600 calories at the moment. So on my training day, I'm always eating 5 times a day. Specifically for 2 meals before my training sessions are very, very, very low in fats and very high in carbs to get some extra energy to do well in my trainings. And my protein are always consistent. They're always the same. So your body will react always in a straight line. You won't have ups and downs and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm going in a bit lower phase from the day of from when I start my day, and it will go up very slowly. So but everything is just in a straight line for yeah, most of the time, or everything is on a straight line. So my body will react in one certain way.
I'm surprised
Yeah,
it's at 3,100 calories. I thought it was going to be a bit higher than that. I thought it was going to be like touching the 4,000 calories.
definitely. I had that in back in 2020, where I had a lot of fat, but over time I built up to my weight class more and even more, so that's why I have to cut down my calories to stay in my weight class. Otherwise, if I will handle those same calories, I will be now at 108 kilogram or even more at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moment.
And you don't want to compete in that category.
Not for now. So back to the juniors for this year. If the juniors will fall a week or 2 weeks after my European or World Dutch Championship or World
Qualification.
Championship,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I will do the juniors, but then I will compete in the minus 120 kilogram just to claim all those 4 records for me, just for fun. They're not so yeah, they're not so high at the moment. They're just in the mid 200 kilogram, and the deadlift is in the low 300 kilogram. and the total is around 750 or something like that, you know, and the bench is also 170. So I can do it in an unpeaked performance. So yeah, it's just for fun to do a Dutch junior championship again for this year.
I was just about to say, you know, like you know, when you at a competition, do they have like an announcer who says like next up the person is Jugraj Singh, and then
Yes,
you come on,
yes,
yeah?
yes, yes,
We,
yes.
we before you do your competition, we need to change that to next up is Jugraj just for fun Singh. That needs to be in your name now. Everything is just for fun.
Yeah.
It needs to be part of the name.
So the reason why I would love to claim all those records are because one of my reasons to go harder in the gyms are because of to hit those records and to achieve them in my own, to let them become in my own name. You know, I want to represent those records from the Netherlands. So the same thing will happen to the other youth people, you know, from the Netherlands. They will see those records and they will aim for that record. So the competition in the whole level from the Dutch national will grow step by step then. So that's what I would love to see from the Netherlands. So that they are going to see my records and that they are going to aim for that to lift even more. So I know that those records that I will hit won't last for, I think, 5 years or something like that. That will the maximum kind of time that my records will remain in the category. And I hope that someone of a lot of people will break that record. So I would love to see the Dutch community grow even more and more to achieve some very nice things in European and World Championships.
No, I think that's a really good way of looking at it as well, because it shows that you're not doing it for like an egotistical like sort of way. It's not like, oh, I want to have that record because I'm the best. It's more like if I break this record, then somebody else will break that, and then somebody else will break that one, and like slowly but surely, then
Yeah.
the whole scene.
The first part is just for myself. I just want to be for myself. I just want to be. I just would love to accomplish that I am the greatest Dutch lifter of all time. You know, for the whole community, I just want them to gain over me. You know, so if they are seeing my record, they need to think like, okay, you know, he hit like a 300 kilogram plus on the squat. That's his record. I want to claim that, you know, and I want. That's the reason that the Dutch community will grow step by step. If the records will stay low in the category at the mid 200 kgs, yeah, you know, the Dutch community won't grow that fast, you know. So I'm not lifting for myself only, but for the whole Dutch community. So I want to be a part to let them grow to a next level.
No, 100%. That is a really good way of looking at it, to be fair. Just to go back on the nutrition topic, do you take any like supplements? Obviously, like as we said before, steroids not being a supplement, but anything else? Like, do you take creatine? Do you take what else? Like vitamins?
Yeah, I'm just taking 5 grams of creatine on my training days. I decided to do it not on my rest days. I don't know why, but my coach told me to do it every day, but I'm too lazy for that, you know. Most of the time I forget to do it, you know. So besides that, I'm always eating 2 or 3 meals, which are vegetarian meals. So I'm adding always some protein shake with those kind of meals. So it is easier to track for me, you know. So that's why I'm taking protein shakes to track those proteins much easier for me. Salt. I'm always eating like 5 to 6 grams a day of salt with my meals.
Okay, why that? I've never heard that before.
When I'm training, I get a lot of cramps in my muscles, and if I'm not doing that, so I have to stay hydrated for my body. So if if your body is cramping up, you're probably not drinking enough of water of and you're not too hydrated, you know,
So do you
because
have
of
the
your
salt to retain
salt
the
intake.
water?
What did you say?
The salt to retain the water in your body?
Yes.
Ah, okay. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I recommend everyone to watch Konstantin Konstantinov's interview with Sarychev Kirill. Did you saw that?
I haven't. I know who
You
you're on
know,
about though. Yeah, I know who Constantine is.
yeah, you have to watch his interview with the Sarychev Kirill. He was once the world record bench press holder at 335 kilogram.
Right. Okay.
So he tells literally everything about his nutrition and what he does actually for his body to stay healthy and to achieve those big numbers. So yeah, he's a very wise person. He's also from Russia, or from Russia, and those Russian people are on some next level things, you know, with the nutrition and
with the
building up their bodies.
nutrition in
Yeah.
quotation marks. They're very good. Obviously, we said we'll watch Icarus. We know what their nutrition is like. That is crazy though. Yeah, I'll give that a watch to be fair, because I didn't think of the salt thing. It does make sense though to retain more water. But what you normally hear is the opposite. I don't know if it's because I've been talking to too many bodybuilders because they cut salt so that they don't retain water, so they get a bit more lean. But most people try to cut it out.
My primary function of my body is to strengthen my game system, you know. So it's not that I want to have a nice physique or something like that. If I was a fat kid at the moment, it doesn't matter for me. I'm just looking for strength for myself. If I have to be more fatty than I'm now at the moment to gain some extra gains for my total, I will do that. You know, my body shape is not the most important thing at the moment for me to gain. You know, and salt, I always had that problem because in competitions after my squat, when I made an arch on my bench press, my lower back was always cramped up, and it was because of not drinking enough water and not taking not taking enough salt to maintain those things for my body.
Yeah, no, I get you. It logically it makes sense to be fair, but obviously you always hear to reduce your salt intake. Nobody ever says to have more. So it's just like surprising to hear. Obviously it makes sense, but it's just surprising to hear. When you say that you have vegetarian meals quite often still, is that Punjabi food or is that like Western
It's
food?
just Dutch food, man. It's
Dutch food.
yeah, it's yogurt with granola. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing it well. Yeah, that and blueberries and stuff like that. You know, and the yogurt is very high in protein, so I can get around with it. And on my second, it's always oat with protein shakes to achieve my protein levels always, because the most important thing is to hit my protein always in a good direction. My carbs and fats are very variable, so I can play with those two, but my protein has to be exactly like that in every meal. So I'm always around 50 to 60 gram of protein in for every meal.
Right. So you want to keep it consistent in every single meal, not just have
Yes.
one meal that's really high in protein and the rest are not. It's more
And
consistent.
your body won't react like in a common way, you know. It will like, oh shit, I'm now high in protein, and then in the other I'm very low in protein. So your body will go up and down and up and down. And mentally wise, when I'm thinking about that, it doesn't work for my mental game. So I would love to stick in a consistent way to have my proteins in in the same level.
Just keeping it topped up. Yeah, makes sense. But I think that's the thing with creatine as well, isn't it? So like you're saying that you only do it on training days. I think that's what you're meant to do with creatine is have it every single day, so it's in your system. Do you just feel like you don't see the difference if you have it on every day and if you only have it on training days?
Yeah, so the problem is that I didn't do it every day for a while. So I don't know what the difference actually is at the moment, but I think it will work better for me because my coach is always telling me that I have to take my creatine every day, and I don't think that's even bad or something like that. So I probably should take it every day, but it's also not playing a huge factor for my game, So I'm fine with what I'm doing currently. So it's not gonna make a huge difference for me mentally wise and physically wise, I think. So I'm doing what I think that's great for me. And if there are some improvements that I need to make, I will know it straight away where it's come from, so where I'm leaking at, and something like that.
Well, yeah, because what you're doing is obviously working. Do you know what I mean? Like within a couple of years, you've went up 230
That's
kilograms
right.
in your total, so it's definitely working. Um, yeah, I've really enjoyed this conversation. We're coming
Me
towards the
too.
end now, and it's been really fun. It's been a really good insight. Obviously, as I say, it's just interesting to speak to people from different parts of the world as well. Like obviously experiences in Holland, and to listen to your passion for powerlifting, and hopefully you can I'll mark the calendar for May 13th or 29th, whichever one it is, and
Yeah,
we can keep up to date and support you on your open as well, which would
thank
be
you very
dope.
much, man.
Cool.
And as I said before, I'm thankful of you for having me on your podcast.
No
And
worries.
hopefully we can get a part two.
Definitely. We
So
could do one
yeah,
after the open. After the open, we can come back and do another one.
we will do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
or after Worlds or Europe, so we will see.
Yeah, we'll do one after every major competition. We'll do the Dutch Open, then we'll do the
Yeah.
Europeans, then we'll do the Worlds.
Uh,
But just before we finish, I normally ask the same 5 questions to every single guest. So it's
that's
like a
good.
quick fire round just to finish off the podcast. So question number 1 is, what are you most proud of?
Um just to see my parents be happy about me if I achieve something. That's the most important thing for me.
That's a good answer. What are you most looking forward to?
Smash that worlds. I just want to be first, become the first Sikh lifter to, and the Dutch lifter to be on that podium and to have that gold medal. I would love to have that, and I'm dedicated enough to achieve that. But time will tell if I get in, if I'm injury free and if I'm still dedicated to those weights to achieve those beautiful moments that will come hopefully one day.
They will come. They will come. What is your biggest motivation?
Biggest motivation, just a certain person or just for myself?
Anything.
Um, yeah, I'm looking up to the stories of a lot of people that made some world records, like Eric Lillibridge is a huge inspiration for me. Julius Maddox, the current bench press world record holder. George Lehman, he was a very great role model for me. And those stories that they had to tell in their motivation talk on YouTube, that was a huge motivation for me to push myself even harder and to see like, okay, look at where they come from and look at where you can come from, and it's kind of the same. So you can achieve those things if they are able to achieve those things. So that's, I think, my biggest motivation, and just for myself to hit those PRs every time. So I'm doing something good, I think. Then that's
Definitely.
what I think always. Then yeah,
Definitely. Number 4 is, what is your definition of success?
success. To live your life healthy in a healthy way, and yeah, just the common things, to have a and have some parents that are always looking up happy to you, and that you're having a wife and a kid later on, you know. So those are the most important things to have some fun with the family, you know. So that's the most successful thing I can think of. Money, and beside that, it's just good, you know. Money on your hands is always great, but if it gets in your mind, you will get crazy. So yeah, that's it, man. Just to have some fun with the family. That's the most successful thing I think you can get in life.
Definitely. And last but not least, because it's the KultureKast podcast, how has your culture affected you this far?
Yeah, actually, what should I say, man? I'm my own culture. Let me say that in a kind of way. I'm just unique from the others, and I love my culture. You know, the Punjabi culture is amazing. I couldn't ask for a better culture. So, but still to this day, I'm always like, okay, you know, I'm unique from the rest, and I'm just my own culture, man. I'm living my own life, and I will make my own kind of thing. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah,
That's
I'm my
good.
own. I'm my own culture, and the Punjabi culture has inspired me some good things, you know, and some funny things and great things in life. But yeah, nothing special that I think like, wow, that's something that saved my life, or that I should be thankful, or something like that. I'm just fine with having a Punjabi culture around me, with those people that I'm having around me,
And the
and
Dutch
that's it.
culture as well.
Yeah, Dutch culture also. Yeah, that's it, man.
That's it.
Nothing special actually. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
for like a lot of people, when I ask the question, they always go to like the Punjabi culture straight away. But it's also like the Dutch culture as well for you. For me, the English culture. It's like the combination.
The combination, yes, of course, yeah.
I think that's what makes us special. Like the way that you're saying it is like, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's very easy just to be one, very easy to be other. But when you're with your Dutch friends, you'll be fully Dutch. When you're with your Punjabi friends, you'll be fully Punjabi.
That's true, man.
You know what I mean?
And when I'm with my Turkish friends, or some other nationalities, yeah, you're right, man. I'm always acting in a certain way with those kind of people.
You can adapt. It's a good thing. It's a
Yeah,
really good thing.
that's
But
true,
yeah,
man.
that's now the end of the podcast. Basically,
Yeah,
them 5 questions are normally the end. So
yeah.
again, I thank you for coming on. I know you obviously you have a busy training schedule and things, so and the time
Thank
difference.
you,
So
man.
thank you for making this
Yeah,
happen.
guys, I would like to say sorry for my English. It's okay, it's fine, but I can improve on it. But it is what it is. The most important thing is that they can understand what I'm saying.
100%.
So yeah,
No, you smashed it. You smashed it. I think for like a lot of people who are not in English speaking countries, they still speak very good English. Do you know what I mean? Like, in Holland, I think they teach it at school, don't they? Like
yeah,
most people in Holland can speak really good English. So no,
mm,
it's cool.
yes,
When I go to Holland, I can't speak Dutch. So you're doing a better job of speaking English than I'm
yeah,
doing of speaking
that's
Dutch.
true. You gotta do it that way. Yeah,
No, definitely. But no, again, thank you for your time. Do you
thank you,
want to say
man.
any last couple of words?
Uh, for everyone that is watching us till this end, I would love to thank you. I hope you get inspired by the stories that I told you, and yeah, I hope everyone is still in a good way, living their life in a good way and in a healthy way. And I hope that we can gain together some new level kind of strength, and yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
I would love to thank everyone that watched this today.
And remember, everybody who's listening, it's just for fun.
Just for fun.
That's the one.
Yes.